Good morning, traders. For my YouTube viewers and for those who are watching this video on YouTube, we're recording in our trading room. We're live here as we normally do. We have about 4 or 5 live sessions a day. If you would like to join any of these live sessions, please send me a Skype message and I will give you the details on how you can join. I do not have a WhatsApp group. I do not have a Instagram group. I do not have any other group where you can join me. Please, if you're joining anybody anywhere else, it's not me. Even if they're using my photograph and even if they're using my trading name, you do not fall for that scam. Because I have a message over the weekend where somebody was, well, the person had the right mind to ask me if that was me, because he got a promotion from somebody from, I think, was a WhatsApp group, to join with my photograph and everything there that looks like me. And it's a normal thing. They don't only do it with me, they do it with everybody. The scammers, they select all the people who do YouTube videos, and it's a basic scam thing they do to get you to pay them some sort of money for whatever. And it's not a large sum of money. I think you have to pay $50 or something like that. So the whole reason they're doing it so is that if they get 100 people to pay them $50, they're okay. They'll just continue using another name and do this scam, get another couple hundred people to pay them. And first, you wouldn't be fighting them for $50. It's not like you can go and start a big argument for $50. They're hoping that when you pay and you realize you're scammed, that's it, you're gone, right? You wouldn't go look for a lawyer and then look to find where they are. It might cost you more to find them than to let the $50 go. And that's the whole plan behind the scammers. They do it in such a way so that you don't go look for them when you miss them, right? So be careful. The only place you can get me, I also do not have a website. The only place you can get me is sending me a Skype message. The Skype is in the description. If you can find it in the description, it's MANGAL457. Send me a message, I'll give you all the details. That's the only way you can join our group. You could either join as a full-time member, or if you don't have the money to be a full member where you have access to everything, including lifetime access to the group, with all the trading sessions and the entire trading course, you can join as an installment trader, which means you'll pay the same sum of money on a monthly installment. When you complete that installment, you get access to the group and you get full lifetime access to everything, including the course, the trading course. There are a lot of people who completed that part, who started it years ago and they already completed it. Some people do it really quick, like in 5 payments. Some people do it in a whole year. Actually, one trader paid $100 until he completed. Literally every month, $100, and he completed it. At the time, it looked like he was never going to make it, but then he managed to pay all through the year and the next year, and then he completed. I think that it's about a year and 9 months, because by the end, he was paying more than 100. He's probably making money from the account he had, and he joined. So it's up to you. You can sit and wait, because I know traders who, like, for 5 years wanted to be in my group, but they didn't have the full sum of money. They're waiting to accumulate that sum of money. So when I get the full sum, I'll join your group. 5 years pass and they're still waiting. Had they start the installment program for which they have the money, they'll probably be here already. And I'm talking about those who want to be here. So you will make your own decision. Go watch what I do on YouTube. It's called wave analysis, some method that I created, and you can see if it works for you. Dollar index. Nothing new here. It's exactly what we're doing. When we were thinking about this for the upside, remember I said you got to be careful if you can manage that trade. You couldn't manage it. If you take it, it would have been a loss, but don't take it, because you see this. We're coming back to the low. So here is the question. Where do we think dollar index is going to go now? Now that we have got 1, 2, 3, we still have this. So there is a good chance that although we are coming down, we will still have to go back up, retest the top, and then most likely will be dropping. There's a higher probability to the downside than to the upside. But this could also be some kind of a running flat forming here, and we still take off. I don't think this is the full takeoff, but it's possible, especially if you can either use this as a 1, 2, 3 for the impulse, the first impulse there. You can use this as a 1, 2, 3 for this one, and that takes off, right? Very sharp. You can either put it as a 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3, and that takes off. Or you can go with the assumption that all of this is just making a bigger correction. It's still a correction. Just tag the top and come back here. So if we get a trade from the bottom going up, we'll take it. Any buy setup we get from the bottom here going up will be, we don't need to break this low. So if you get a buy setup in here, that is a good trade. Right now, we don't have a buy setup. As a matter of fact, it's still more downside. I think clearly you can see that. Right, so I still think this is probably going to go a little lower. Break this low at least. Probably like this, and then we could be looking for the upside. And that would happen where we break the low and turn. Right, this was a running flat, a bigger running flat, break the low, turn. Break the top, turn. Right, break the top, turn. Actually, it's this one, it's an expanding flat here. Right, so break the top, turn. Pretty simple. Wait for this to break. You can actually sell it. My trade is if you can manage it, you can sell it. I don't see why. I am pretty sure a lot of you can take this trade and get out for positive and even in profit, depending how low it dropped. Right, so that is a sell setup we have there. Can that sell setup change into a buy setup? I've explained that like a million times, and I think you know that once it gets to the top here, take off the sell, look for a buy. Would we go with a probably smaller? The only smaller possible running flat I see would be this one. I really don't like it. So I think this is the one, which means that if you have to ask me, there's about an 85% chance. That's not an 85% chance of going down. There's a 15% chance it comes here, do this and go up. So when it does this, then the possibility change, right? This becomes the 90% and there's a 10% chance this will work its way down. But we wouldn't be selling it in that case. So right now we're looking for a short-term sell. I'll put it as a short-term sell here, right? Because we'll change that by the end of the day. The bigger picture will be upside. Silver, definitely a buy. I think we explained silver and some of you bought it. Some of you bought the gold, right? Because we're expecting this to go. We'll probably break that up. I think there's a high probability of breaking that. There's only one chance we don't break the top if we're repeating this. 1, 2, 3, and then drop. Because that is the move we were actually hoping it would make, right? When we finish this 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3. The thought process was this would come down here, then go back up and then drop. Right? So we're in this move going down. But this one has a huge flat in the middle, right? When this was coming down. What if we're repeating that huge flat? It means this is going to work its way down here. Go back there, complete the huge running flat somewhere here. Drop here and then go back up. And it will be exactly the same as this. And then we'll get one of that. So there's no guarantee that this goes back, break the top. But it could be that we're making a more complex pattern. And if you're making a more complex pattern, like we anticipate that this would break out. If we're making a more complex pattern, this could go break the top, come back here. Right? This would be a flat of its own. This would be a flat. So you kind of make one flat. We either take this as a separate correction or as a flat of its own, depending on whether this goes back up. Right? We'll see. I think most likely that even if we break it up, we're going to be dropping. This would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Although I don't like this to be equal to that. So either we get this, which is the higher probability that they're making a big flat like that and then drop, because this is a complete pattern by itself. It's kind of okay. There's no point, making it more complex. So let's see. Do we have a sell setup? Sorry, let me take that out. Do we have a sell setup? No. Under 15, we have a buy setup because we're going to make the assumption that this could take off to the upside. What would change if we get a flag here? This is a slow move. That's a small flat. This drop. If you get a bigger one here, we're selling it. So right now, if this is to whatever reason go back to the top there and we see a possible flat here, we'll go with the sell. We'll just make an assumption that this is a small one. You got to drop. You make a small one, small. You get another. This is going to drop. And remember, even if it's coming down, it's a correction. Right? It's a correction of this impulse up, this piece. So we'll see if it drops really hard or if it just comes down slowly, and then we'll deal with it as it goes. The entry order for the buy should be there, which means we're still putting that entry order for the buy, even if it doesn't tag. Because should it break the low and take off like a rocket to break the top, you definitely want that trade. So we have a buy entry, but we'll watch this piece to see whether it becomes a sell setup. Gold. And one of the reasons why I think it can become a sell setup is that gold can definitely go break the top. So if you watch my recording for a couple of weeks now, I mean, if you watch the recording from this point, let me see what date that was. So that if you're seeing this one for the first time, you should go back and watch all the webinars, starting from when we broke this top and we pull back, right? Because that happened quick. We were here. And that was in December. Yep, a couple months ago. and go and track what exactly I said. You can sell these small ones, but you have to be careful because at some point this is going to make a big daily correction and then drop. That was the forecast before all of this happened. Even when this was going up, and especially when it got here, we pretty much assumed that that's the first part of a deeper correction to form. This is only one part of a possible huge daily correction to form here. Go take a look. You don't have to trust me or believe me. You just have to go watch the recordings. They're there on YouTube. And that is happening now. So we're about to break that up. And I truly believe we have to break the top. I don't like contracting flats. It doesn't necessarily have to break the top, but that's contracting flat and I don't like it. They're very dangerous to trade. So the assumption is that this could go through the top. And from there, we're going to expect downside. The assumption that I would make is that this flat is over. Remember, silver, the flat is not over. It's similar to this, but it's not over on a lower degree. So it doesn't mean that this one is over. This thing could stay here for a longer time. It could make a copy of this here and go back up to the top. We're always going to make the assumption that it's going to drop, which means any sell setup above here, we're taking. Right now, there's a buy setup on it, going to 15. It looks like a small flag. So you should have an entry to buy above the last impulse. Sorry, this is not the last one, above this one. But I think this one is going to go break the low, so you can see if this consolidate here. The question is if this consolidate here, do this and go back up there, would we sell it? I think we can take it, but not for the downside, just for one more move down. And then up. So if it becomes a sell setup, it becomes a sell setup for a more complex correction and then up. In rare cases, of course, it becomes a contracting flat that I showed you in the 4-hour. In very rare cases, this here is a contracting flat and it's dropping. So we can still sell, right? But in most cases, it will go break the top first. So even if it makes a deeper correction, this is a big move. So I don't see any reason why they can't make a deeper correction, even a bigger correction, not just a deeper one, and then go to the top. So on the big picture, I'm definitely expecting this thing to go back up. We'll see how that plays out. Put an entry there. I don't think it's going to go now. It's coming down. So this consolidation could get much bigger. And we will know that when we see what this does. If this goes back up and you get a flat here and then it starts coming down, it will just start doing this and, get bigger here and then break the top and then drop. So maybe today we just get sideways move. If you can trade in the sideways, good. You can trade it both ways. If you can't, then just leave it for that to finish and then look for the trade to the upside. So I'll just put an entry order to buy here because we can put an entry order to buy here. I don't think it will tag you unless it goes through the top. It will most likely consolidate here, and when we get a short-term sell in the London or the New York session. Euro. This one worked well. We had this, we went back, and we're pretty sure you're going to get a move down to the bottom. It broke the low, it's going back up. This is the move we're looking for. So this consolidation here makes sense. It should break the top. Let's see, did we break the low? Oh, we broke the low, so we don't have to break the top. We just have to come back close enough to the top. So at any point, this could drop. And at any point, this could finish what it's doing, and you get this trade down. It doesn't have to go that far. This is just an equivalent of this. Right? The arrow is showing you the equivalent of this. It doesn't have to be that. At any point here, this thing could drop. So look for a sell setup. Not a sell, look for a sell setup. The sell was this one coming down. So now what we're going to wait for is when it gets there, I can put it more like this now, for example. We don't need to break the top. And we'll expect one more move down to complete this pattern. After which we're going up. And after which we need to get this one up. So let's get the sell. Then we start to look for the buy. And we will see if that goes to break the top or it's just a deep correction. If we're going to break the top or it's just a deep correction to come back here. So first you're looking for the sell today, and for the rest of the week, we'll probably be buying it up. Pound. Similar structure. So far, every piece we put here is working. Right? This one did drop a little. We thought it would go up from here. It dropped a little more. And like I said, be careful. All it's going to do is break the low and go right back up. It even much shorter than I had it. They actually tipped the low. go right back up. So you can take this out now, and you can take this out because both of those moves completed themselves. So we're going to wait. This one is happening. That should complete itself. That's the equivalent of this. After which we're going to look for this one down. So we know both euro and pound has a sudden drop here. Don't miss it. Right? We just have to wait for the setup. There is no setup, which means I think this is going to go a little more. We'll get a nice sell setup, and we're looking for this trade. Right? So once we get this, we complete this pattern. That is this one, sorry. 1, 2, 3. We'll be going up for this. So the rest of the week, we'll be trading up for this one. Very similar to what the euro has, with a lot of corrective pieces in it. That is this. Depending on how low this goes, but I don't think we will break this low. Right? There's no point. You need to break this low, but we already broke that low. We don't need to break it, but we'll see. It might most likely break this low here, come down, depending. We're not going to break the top. I don't think we'll break the top, so most likely we'll come back and break the low. Right? Since we're not going to break the top, we might come back and break the low for this flat, go back up like that, and we're in a bigger consolidation. Right? So this one went up, make a sharp one, do this, come back here, go back there, complete this flat. Go back up like this, come back and complete this one, these sharp moves. So we'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think by then we all know what's going to happen. We go up. So this actually replicates this whole piece in here, like a lot of mess in it, but tradable. So come back here, look for a sell setup. That's today's trade. Let's see if we can get a sell setup. Not ready. I don't see the sell. This still has more to go up. Look for a sell setup. Aussie. Yep, we're looking for a sell setup. I think this is easy. You can pull this to like this, but I'm not sure that is the right one. I don't think this is going to go up. We just need a pullback here for a running flat. Just need a small pullback there, get a small running flat, and go for this trade. It comes slow, it comes fast, doesn't matter. You're looking for that sell setup. That little pullback for that running flat would work well. We could make an argument that this is all consolidation. So that is 1, 2, 3. This is coming down totally. Or it might just work its way down back here and go back up and then drop. We know euro and pound has an up move when they come down, right? So Aussie could be more complex than that. I don't think it's going to be that simple. But if Aussie keeps dropping, no problem. Once that drops, we're coming to break this low. Once we break out of this, we're coming to break this low. And once we break that low, we're likely coming for this one. So from the start of it, when this started to come down, with this sharp move, we already assumed that it's coming to break this low. It doesn't matter what is happening here. This one is relatively sharp, right? This piece. This one is relatively sharp compared. So you got a flat there, you're getting a flat here. If it dropped a little and make another flat here and then drop again and then go back up there, we'll probably go with a running flat for one more down. That is okay. See, they made a big running flat here, go up. I think we could make an argument that this is a deep pullback. There's a lot of pieces in here. So a big correction in here before it drop, break this low and go back up is not a problem. But for now, we're selling like this piece. See, they make that big one, then drop, go back up. So we're looking for this piece here to complete this entire pattern. This one. So the big moves will be coming back to break whatever this is, coming back to break this low. This one has a big correction in here, so a big correction here is not a problem. Maybe break this one. I wouldn't put breaking, but maybe. And then go back to the top there. That's the flat we're looking at. We'll leave that for now, so we'll see how that plays out. Come back, let's get this straight to the bottom and see how far that goes. Go back to the 15. It's coming down real sharp without any pullback, but the chances are if you get yourself tagged here, it will go. See, the 5 minutes is showing you there's a very high probability we get this. Let it come a little more. There's no point taking it here. Let it come a little more and go back up. Any pullback or any flag, even sideways, we'll go with it. The pullback would be the best one, though. That would be the ideal one. So they always kind of do this, and then you go for this trade. Put an entry here, put a stop above the top, and go for the trade. So we're looking for a sell setup. New Zealand, I think it has similar, same setup as the Aussie. This is a big flat, pretty big one. So that flat is a little, Take this away. It's not coming down as sharp as we'd want it to come. It's coming down more like this. So that means we could be stuck here for a while. It might be that this is the first move up. This is 1, 2, 3. It didn't break the low, but not necessarily it has to break the low. You can go with a contracting flat in there. This is the move up. We make another one here. This is already telling us that's a possibility. This goes back up there. Come here, make a deeper one, drop, make a deeper one, end up with something like this. Go back up, then break. So this big flat here is telling us that a down move might not be as sharp as we think it is. All right, but we can still trade it, let it come back here, make this one, and then we go for this trade. It might just drop here and start to go back up, but that's okay. Keep a stop here. As we come to the low, if it starts to do this, we'll probably exit it here if we can, and then we'll see if we want this sell, and then we'll go back up. Because it's not going to be the impulse to the downside. It's going to stick. We'll probably be here for today and tomorrow. But you're looking for a sell setup. CAD. CAD, the big picture is upside. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 1, 2, 3. This one is making a 1, 2, 3. They'll probably break through somewhere here. You can put it like that. So at some point, it probably even might go back a little more, but then it's going to come here. I'm looking for something like this. Not as big as this one, which means I don't think they're going to come back here and then come here. So probably drop here, break this low, and then upside. Now, what happens when it breaks this top? We're expecting downside. Just like euro and pound, right? When it comes down, it's going to go. Euro and pound has a little more up and then drop. This has a little more down, then go up. So we know pound and euro will both go back up. So there's a good chance this come back because we're in a bigger, I hope you guys don't forget the pattern. We're in this. And that doesn't look like it's going to break out, right? That pretty much looks like it's going to come back and retest this low. So when we go back and break that top, we'll be looking for this trade down. Now, in rare cases, what happens is that this comes out and do this and then still go back up. But in most times, you can get this. So come back here. We're at the top. We're going to go tag the top. I'm pretty sure that when it comes here, there's a high probability we're going to go tag that top like this. But then from there, we're coming down. From that point, you could get a really sharp move down that might break out of that structure. Well, let's see, go back here. Or it just makes a consolidation and then it'll consolidate here and go back up again. So there's a drop here. I'm not sure if that's a good sell. I'm not even sure if we're going to get any sell in it. Right, there's this little flag, but it's back at the top there. So this would probably just go there, come here, maybe go back up. But this eventually will break here. If you get the sell set up, take it. If you don't get it, let it break, and then we look for the buy. So it all depends on whether you get that sell set up or not. I'm not sure. The first one is a sell, but we will ignore it. So I'll just leave that open for now. I think we're getting a sell set up here. This is much easier. It will have to climb up some more, but you can put an entry order under the low. Like we sold that, we sold this, you sold that. And you can put an entry order here for the bigger one. I don't think it's going to go right now. I'll take that off. That was the buy. So where you're going to probably start to get there now is this, a bigger flat. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We broke the top. That's a message that this is continuation for the upside, right? And the bigger picture is upside. If you remember Friday, what we said is that let it break, come to the top. I hope a lot of you took it. So if you close it there, you did. You didn't have to wait for the break of the top. We're going to make a bigger one than this because this is becoming the big one now. There's a good chance this will break. You have to be very careful. It might start to do this here. Now, sometimes if you remember the CAD and the daily, this one came down really sharp without the flat. So the daily structure is exactly that. 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, and this one just came, break the low, and then start to go back up. So if we're lucky, we get this trade to the bottom. If we're not so lucky, then it just, make a bigger correction. But we should take the trade. We should take the sell, put it as a sell, and let's see where that takes us. The first move of pound and euro is to the upside, right? What if this drops really fast? Then it will probably break the low before it goes back up. That will complete the flat. But if it doesn't go now and it stays here for a while, break here and stay here for a while for bigger consolidation. We'll still come here, and then it's upside. One more at least upside. Why do I have the arrow like that and not further? Let's see. Okay, it will do this, and then we'll decide, are we totally going up or are we going to drop one more? We want to exclude the possibility of a running flat here because the bigger move is to the upside, right? The bigger move is totally upside from this. It's going to totally come and break this top. The only thing we want to exclude is the possibility of this being a running flat for one more down and then go. Because it will go up. Remember when it was at the top here? We're pretty sure that we might come back and retest this low. And we did. So should this come and retest the low, we're going up. Should it continue to go, good for us. We'll be in it all the time. So right now, this is a perfect setup for trading. First for the downside and then for the upside. Let's see what that does. Let's put it as an active sell. You can put the entry order. If it tags you and go back a little up, you know you're making that bigger one. Don't, if you can get out, get out. If you can, don't worry very much. Yen is going up. It didn't, the only thing I'm surprised is that this didn't break out. Because that did surprise me. Completing this flat, it should have broken out. Like if we take this as a complete flat, and I think that looks pretty much like a complete flat here. I'm surprised it didn't break out completely. Okay. It's not good because if we start repeating this, then we're in a huge triangle kind of pattern, right? If we start repeating this one with this, 1, 2, 3 here, right? 1, go back, make it 2, come back here for a 3. We might end up repeating the same thing here again. Right? The same 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, go back. If we repeat that, we'll still get another sharp move down. And we'll have more of like an expansion, which will still push us one more up. So either this is going to be the total upside. I don't think this one, there's a buy setup here, but I don't think that is the total upside. Because you have like a 1, 2, 3. Will that one go totally upside? I don't know. We'll wait and see. This one is gone, so wait for another flag. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they consolidate here more. And you got to be careful of that. This could be a bigger consolidation before they go. This one is relatively sharp. I'm on the 15 minutes. That's why it looks like that, but it's relatively sharp. So if you miss the buy, you miss the opportunity for an exit for break even. So be careful with that, right? If it starts to do this, like this one, see that climb up there? Back to the top, we'll go for the sell, and then we know what's going to happen next. So this one, you can wait for a buy setup, but you don't have it. Okay, put it to wait for a buy setup to come back to this top. Euro yen. Okay, this one is going back up. We want one more drop. You want this to pull back. And then you have a buy setup, right? Because you got a flat in here. You have 1, 2, 3. You have this sharp one. These are smaller flags. These are smaller flags, which if you remember we're buying, that is going to bring it out of this structure. Make a new high, and then we start selling. So we'll try to get this straight up today. And then we'll definitely be looking for sell setups again. I'll just move this a little here. We don't necessarily have to break that top. That's a yearly, weekly top, right? We don't have to break it. Could it break it? Absolutely. But there's no necessity to break that, right? Then the weekly, that's the trade, right? We're coming back to that top, but we don't have to break it. That's the weekly pattern, right? Now we're assuming that this is it, right? We're assuming that that could be a running flat or this could make a running flat. That is why there's no need to break the top. If this is the running flat, we will break the top. Right, let me go daily. Right, in the daily, if this is the running flat we're going with, then this would break the top. If this is making a running flat here of its own, then it probably wouldn't break the top, or a flat or a running flat. It'd probably just come here and come back up here. So break the top or don't break the top, no problem. Every time we get a sell setup, we're coming here. Right, so when you break this top here, we get a sell setup. There's a lot of divergence here in all time frame. I think you can see that already. We discussed this. We will get divergence here. If we break internally there, divergence here, 4 hours, you'll see it. Right, there's a lot of divergence there. On the 4 hours, on the 1 hour, and all time frame, just put it like this, and you can see that there is divergence along the way. This one from here, sorry, from this one here. Right, there's divergence along the way here. There's divergence internally. These are from the 1 hours. So on the 1 hour, you also have divergence. See, that is from the 1 hour. So all you're waiting for is the break of the top and go. So let this pull back. I'm not sure we're going to get a sell here. And it's pretty small. Let me see what's the range. That's 6 to 6 pips, not that small. You might get a sell. No, you might not get it. See, it made one drop. So I'm not sure we will get it. You'll have to get a flag here and then, within the 20 pips range so that you can get 40 pips down. And we kind of tagged the top so it doesn't have to come back to the low. But if you get a flag here, yeah, why not? Go for the trade. And because market is quiet, go for that trade and then we look for the buyout. So short term, if you get the sell, if not, it's a buy setup. We'll just wait. I'll leave the buy setup. Short term, if you get the sell, you can go. We have yen news tomorrow. Well, the hope is that this thing comes down here and give us a nice setup by tomorrow. Tomorrow, what time? Let me see. Let me check mine. 8 a.m. I'll be here. I'll be here. It's a speech, so we'll have to wait like 5 minutes after it starts. If anybody gets a speech before, it might even move before. So be ready for that. Be ready for the big up move, not this move. This move should finish today. So let me just put an arrow just in case traders are watching the webinar and they have no clue what they're looking at. We're looking for this move first down, and then we're looking for the upside. And we're looking for that big move up to go break the top. Okay, I'll do the Euro CAD more for all the other traders because Euro CAD is a nice sell setup. We were looking for this sell setup when we said this is going to break out. We already had one selling it. It's making a nice flag here. So we're expecting that thing to come and break this low. If you've been following us with the Euro CAD, it's moving like a big mess. Like totally, it's very difficult to trade. But every one of these moves we made forecast. We thought this would stop here. I'm keeping the arrow so you know. We thought it would stop here and come down, and that would make a perfect running flat for upside. Right? Instead, it went a little higher. And if you're following me with those webinars, which you can go back and watch, I said it doesn't matter how high it goes, it's going to come back here. That is this sharp one. Well, this thing is a huge mess. Like literally, I think we will eventually put this as a running flat. That is, I'm taking this sharp one here, this relatively sharp one here, and match it with this one that is also relatively sharp. But it's because of this flat in the middle here, right? This 1, 2, 3. So this could literally come here, either like this or really slow. And I mean really, really slow. That is a possibility. But that trade you definitely want if you get it, right? We already sold it once here when it was breaking out of this. Go back to the 1 hour now. It's making a nice corrective structure there. It made a really nice flat in the middle. This one, that is 1, 2, 3. Look for a sell setup. For my traders, you can put an entry here. I'm not expecting it to tag. That's under the last impulse. I don't think it's going to drop suddenly, but hey, who knows? Why not put it? It's safe, right? You don't have to worry about being tagged there because if you're tagged there, worst case is you're going to get break even. If you tag there, it's coming back to this low. If you're still in the correction, if it tags you and you're still in the correction, we're coming back to about here to go back up, right? If they're repeating one of this. This is only if it drops suddenly. If it's coming down slowly, you take this off. You know the rules, right? Now, I wouldn't be surprised. This was actually this flag when we sold that flag. I'll take it off. There was a second sell here. I'll take those off as well. If you missed the first one, you got the second one. And those trades were close here. So what we're looking for is a sell setup here. I'm not sure we will get a flag, but if we get a flag, we sell the flag, you take it out. But should it drop suddenly, you want to trade. For many reasons, it could drop suddenly. I don't know, right? They could use anything to make it drop. So keep that entry order for a sell. I'll put this an active sell. At the same time, I'll go to Pound CAD since we wouldn't be doing all of that. I'll go to Pound CAD, sorry, Pound CAD. And we have a similar one. Pound CAD did tag the low. That's the only difference, is that it did tag the low, which means it can go back and retest the top before it comes. So Pound CAD could go retest the top, but eventually we're looking for this. So should it drop, we could get that trade, right? This one came back to the top, so this would have to come back for this move now. Right, this is 1. This will be 1, 2, 3. It will have to go back up, come back here, complete this one, and then go back up for this. So this would be in a long sideways up and down. But the Euro CAD is the best one, right? Let me do some of these, and I will do some cryptos for the 2 or 3 cryptos for the YouTube videos. If you would like to have the analysis of all of these, You have the option of joining us live in this session or in any other sessions we do. If you join the installment, you will join us in the London and New York sessions. You get to see how we trade. You get to make your decision in that, right? So that's it. Let's move on. Let's go with, I think we have a very nice setup on oil. Don't worry, natural gas. We have a very nice setup on oil because we have this pattern. That was our forecast. 1, 2, 3, go break this top and then look for sell setups. This should drop. If it doesn't drop, all it means is it's continue to go up more, right? But then we can take every sell and every buy we get. So right now there is a sell setup on the 15. I think it's worth taking. You can put an entry. I don't think we're making 1, 2, 3 to go back up, but if that is the case, you'll get out for break even. So put an entry here and manage a trade. You can put it under the low because it's an expanding flat. I'll put more like this. This is part of it. This is coming down really slow. If this comes here, tag and start to go back, assume it's still in the correction, put a stop here. But exit the trade. You know how to trade management rules, so you'll know how to exit that trade. Because there's a good chance that it's making something more complex. This pullback is not, we didn't break the top, right? So that pullback is a little real, but I'm not sure if that wick is real even. Sometimes it's not real. Right? Because sometimes different charts will show you wicks that don't exist. We'll have to see if it's real. But should it come here and go back up, right? It will probably come and retest this stop. So don't put your stop there. I put your stop above here and then drop. All you're going to have is a bigger expanding flat, right? That's the only difference. So let's go. What else are you looking at? Bitcoin. I put it like this. We have this sharp move here, and sometimes they give it back, sometimes you don't get it, but this is all kind of correct, and we need a sharp drop. So should this here make a sharp drop, suddenly come back here? That would be a flat for an upside. If you want to buy, like this was a buy setup, but these are really short-term trades, right? They're just going sideways. So when it drops here, that gives you the advantage of, okay, now it's ready to go back up. So if you're long-term, you let it drop, then you look for the buy setup. And ETH, pretty much the same thing. We want this drop. You want this here to drop. So you want to drop here, and then you get a flat for upside. There are more sharp waves in this, so like this one. So you got to be careful with that. There's a chance it gives you one more sharp pullback. After it goes up, give you another sharp pullback, you get 2 running flats, and then it goes. On the big picture, these have already moved up quite a lot. And they've moved up quite a lot. So every buy setup becomes a risk. There's no guarantee we're coming to break that top. We could come back to the top, but most likely, depending on how you look. If you look at this as a contracting flat, which is possible in the up move, this is the first down move, and this is the move going up with it. Normally, this could pull back, make a big flat, go, make a big flat, go, and then drop here before it goes back up. So if that happens, it drop here, it start to go back up really slow. This piece might take a long time before it goes, depending on whether we break the top. If we don't break the top, we're coming, break the low, and then do this. Like that same repeating of that process up. Now, I don't like to make forecasts and contracting flats. That was the biggest problem with this piece, putting it as a contracting flat. But the way this is structuring itself, you have to be aware that that is a possibility, right? So we'll keep the assumption open that this could be a contracting flat here, right? And if that is a contracting flat there, then this, even if it goes up more, at some points come back and retest this low. So if you're a very long-term trader, what you need to do, especially if you bought anywhere in here or if you bought at the bottom here, what you need to do is you need to start moving your stops as where you would like to exit should it make a sudden drop. Because the first move could be a really fast drop, right? Clear out a lot, and then if you're holding, just holding them, you can probably be stuck with it for a long time. Now, there's a good chance that even if you get a deep pullback like this, or like this, right? If you get another deep pullback like that, should it do something like this, it will go retest the top again because we don't have divergence. It's not a necessity, but normally when you see this and you don't have divergence, you're thinking, well, it will come here, go back, give you divergence as an indication that this week, the upside is weak, and then it's going to come back here. So there might be more upside. This one is with a big move, so be careful. It's about time when you're in a correction and you move that much, it's about time you be careful, right? So if I were you, I'd be really careful in any buy setups. Doesn't mean you don't take them. Just be really careful. Possible sell. So this is not a sell setup because we broke the top. So this might most likely, well, it's going to come down, but it's most likely a flat for upside. So, okay, guys, if you would like also all the other ones, join us live. So if you're on YouTube, trade with care. Remember, most of these structures and patterns that I'm showing you could change within the day or within the week. So take it as an indication. I'm just trying to show you how we use wave analysis to trade. You will have to make that change if you see it and you understand it. If you don't, join us. You will learn how to do it. So with that, have a great week. Trade with care. Thank you. Bye.